So now, social engagement, what you can do. Now that you know a little bit about social media and what people expect, I'm going to quickly review some of the many ways retirement communities and operators and healthcare organizations are engaging with targets through social media tools and platforms. I'm going to give you a baker dozen of ideas. It's pretty much in the same order as we would prioritize when working with our clients. So number one on the list is to make sure that you are monitoring and know what people are saying about you. On the right is a Facebook page somebody started that is closed down Fairview Nursing Home. It's a pretty typical nightmare scenario, and I think that it's frightening to all of us to know that this transparency that can be beneficial can also be dangerous. We worked with a multi-site client who had a very similar issue, and it's so critical for you to know what people are saying about you. So we're provided some resources that you can use and to be keeping up with people and comments that are being made about your organization. Also want to point out that these resources are being used by savvy internet users like the adult children and your competition. So it just reinforces why it's so important to know what people are saying. And you can also use them to know what people are saying about your competition. So the monitoring is really the first important step. Next, and somebody had mentioned this earlier, recruiting. How do you use it for recruiting? For retirement communities, it's really just the best thing that you can be doing on social media. It's the target audience you're going after is very active, and you can use it to help people find you and for you to find people. What we're showing on here is a screen from LinkedIn and allows you to go and search for people in matching certain profiles in certain areas and be able to check out their profiles and determine that these are people that you might want to recruit. Keep in mind, your competition can be doing the same thing and trying to recruit your employees, which just goes back to making sure that in this world, keeping employees and customers happy is more critical than ever. You can also use job feeds on Twitter for recruiting, and it's important to keep in mind that increasingly candidates are going to be doing their own due diligence on you. And are you making a strong first impression when they're looking for your information about your organization on the social media sites? One of the things we really see as a tremendous asset is the ability that you have to get real references on people. For retirement communities, it comes down to the caliber of your staff, the longevity of your staff, that interaction that they have on a daily basis is so critical. And of course, anyone who comes in and applies for a job is going to give you references, and they're going to be handpicked. Well, your ability to go to LinkedIn, look at their profile, and search for people that worked with them that weren't necessarily on their reference list, but you might know. We've found some great information out, and our clients have found great information out about people, and it's unfiltered. And again, that transparency in this case really works to your favor. Third one is the ability to extend your brand's reach. According to Josh Burnoff and Ted Chandler of Forrester Research, who are the authors of Empowered, each year consumers make more than 500 billion online impressions on one another about products and services. So that's consumer-generated content. They're mentioning it. They're discussing it, which is why you need to go back to step one and monitor it. But you have an opportunity to get your message out and your experience out through social media. So people can become aware of you and come and visit your community. You can be introduced to new circles by a friend who vouches for you, and that friend, even if they don't say it as beautifully as you would like to say it, is going to be far more credible than going to visit your website and find new channels to distribute content. So here are some additional resources that you can use for getting that content out there. 4 is the ability to drive traffic. One of the key ones is by going into sites and setting up your own page for your community or organization. You can then provide links on that page, and then also in additional posts that you put up. You can be using it to promote events, professional profiles. All of that drives traffic back. It also is going to be able to help you from a search engine optimization standpoint, because you're going to be having more inbound links coming to your website from credible and high volume traffic sites. One of the other ways to do it is to be able to comment on blogs and include those links back. So here's an example of Facebook and promoting an event and the Events tab. We've also seen it being used for, Ericsson uses their event tab as part of their recruiting. So that's an example of how they're using Facebook. If you go to the Ericsson community, you'll see it promoting all the different recruitment events that they have coming up. They've decided that that's their best use of that page. To boost the natural search results. Google and other search engines regard social media sites very highly because the sites are highly visited. So as I mentioned, the backlinks from these sites automatically make a strong positive impact on your online reputation. Additionally, the links you earn from social media sites are completely natural, meaning they're not bought, solicited, or reciprocated, and that makes them very strong in the minds of search engines. So to give you an example here, we're able to drive traffic, and this is from our own experience. We tweeted a link from a recent newsletter on public relations. Another Twitterer user saw it, wrote a brief on their site with a link to the newsletter, and tweeted it as well. The two social resources drove more than 900 new visitors in one day as the item was tweeted and retweeted. So the key to that is the content has to be valuable enough that people want to share it. So you can think of a great way to add new content is your blog, and that's certainly part of social media. So your blog can be highly valuable content, it's keyword rich, and you put it out there, and the search engines will see it and will help to drive more traffic. The key, as I say, is the content. It's not just enough to have a blog out there and constantly be promoting that you've got an event coming up. It really has to be valuable to the target audience. Promoting a great speaker would be good. Promoting something that is timely is particularly helpful. So if you have something about healthcare reform or tax reform and your target audience, that's something that is more likely to be picked up, and doing it in conjunction with an on-site event. One of the things we love about social media is the ability to listen. One of the things you can do is just be a fly on the wall. You can visit a page like Baby Boomer Nexus and see what boomers are discussing. This provides insights we only used to be able to get through time-consuming and expensive research. So encourage you to carve out some time and see what's going on in their minds. It's really important for salespeople to spend some time and understand what the discussions are and learn from that. Here's an example of one site, which is Eons, and they've got a retire wear section. Well, you could go on here and be able to comment on it and join the discussion, or just listen. But you can also go beyond the ones that are specific to where to retiring. Now, this is about squeaking by retirement, and this deals with the financial challenges and how the people are dealing with it. So you can get a full picture of your prospects. Rather than creating your own communities, it's much more efficient to participate in the discussion, consumer-driven groups or networks. You don't have to create yours. You can go and participate. When appropriate, you can join in, get involved by offering resources or insights, but in a non-salesy way. For example, if someone posts a question about your company's location, it's a great opportunity for you to share a link to a Forbes article that lists your town or city as the best place to retire. But you have to remember the research results and avoid being seen as a party crasher or somebody just coming in to try to sell something, but to be sharing something of value. So here are some resources that you can use to check in and listen and find out what's on the mind of your target audience. Time Goes By is just great great content and great comments, and it also has a good list of elder bloggers which you can then use to go and check out other sites. If you've got other ones, be happy if you were to share them, but these are some of the ones that we particularly like to just check in and see what's on people's minds. Aaron, at this point, see what questions.
Yeah, there was a really great question from Betsy who was asking about blogs, since we've talked about that as a good way. And she was asking, is a blog something that you do through Facebook, or do you use another blog site? What's a good best practice for that?
You know, there are a variety of ways to do it. Our preference is to have it integrated through your website because you're trying to get people to come back to your website, but that isn't necessarily always appropriate. Certainly quite a few solutions out there for setting it up. You can use Facebook somewhat as a blog by posting information on there. So it becomes part of as you're developing your social media strategy and internet strategy, determining where the best place is for it. Aaron, did you have some additional comments on that?
Just to let you know that once you have a blog that is hosted on your other site or done through a program, say like WordPress, you can automatically feed the posts through your Facebook and through LinkedIn and share it through Twitter. So you get to be more effective with distribution by linking your various social platforms.
Okay. Other comments or questions?
Just a quick reminder that for those of you whose hands might be hurting because you're writing real fast, a copy of the presentation will be sent out to all of you so that you don't have to write so quickly.
All right. So now that you've listened, you can go into step number 7 and learn. So this is where you start to get from being more passive to being that more active and engaged. So social media provides you that opportunity to ask the questions, to learn. You don't just think of your prospects, but also of industry colleagues. You can think of residents, prospective residents. You could think of adult children. You could think of professionals who are likely to do referrals, and see what's going on in their world. You can find metrics and benchmarks and best practices, and provided some resources. So while social media is not going to replace traditional research, it does provide timely insights at a fraction of the cost of what traditional research costs.